Hey, what's going on, team? It's Ricky with TechBot Solutions. I hope that you guys are all having an amazing Sunday. In this video, we're going to be talking about the top stocks that our members that are tuning in live see value. So I really hope that you guys enjoy. Again, we do these every single Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and I'd love for you guys to join us. So be sure to subscribe if you guys haven't done so already. I'm going to start sharing my screen so you guys can see exactly what it is that I'm looking at. This is the TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim platform for all those that want to ask. And I'm not going to just talk about the stocks that I see value in. I'm going to be doing a follow-up video tomorrow about the top stocks I see value in. This is where I give pretty much the viewers a voice and I break down stocks that they see value in. The only thing that I ask you is to, if you want me to break down your stock, that it has to be in the ticker call out format. So as long as you're aware of that, again, the ticker call out format, you should see Ismail sharing the format for you. You need to make sure that if you want me to break down the stock, that it's in that format. If it's not in that format, I simply won't break it down for you. Looks like my TD Ameritrade platform is kind of freaking out a little bit, but let's go ahead and get started. I actually wanted to, for those that don't follow me or watch my YouTube channel, I actually just landed in Phoenix from California, literally just a couple minutes ago. So you guys should see the little live chat on my right hand side. Not too sure if it's on the left hand side, but today has been a pretty eventful day. For those that again didn't keep up, I drove the McLaren 720S from Arizona to California, Southern California, like Beverly Hills area, and then we drove up to Paso Robles, something like that, and then up to San Francisco. And then instead of driving it back, I decided to ship it just because I've put enough miles on the car. It's the first time I've ever partook in a rally. I don't go to car shows. It's not something that I necessarily like to do, but for networking purposes and also like just being able to get content for you guys, I actually hadn't I actually enjoyed it a lot more than I did. I got along with a lot of the people, and I learned a lot about what they did, and that's never really something that I took into consideration when taking part of these rallies. I just don't like the flexing on one another type of thing. But a lot of these people were much older than me and very respectful and were very intrigued about what I did, and as vice versa, I was very intrigued about what they did. So I'm really looking forward to maybe if you guys are interested. There's I think a total of 10 cars. I'm pretty sure a total of 10 cars, and just maybe talking a little bit more about what they do, as none of them do what it is that I do, and what has led to their success, as that I think can be something that might spark some interest in getting started, and maybe not just trading, but also a lot of them have their own business and stuff like that. So again, I know you guys probably don't care. I'm going to take a sip of water and then we'll get straight to it. So let's go ahead and get started. So every stock that I break down, I'm going to be putting on the left-hand side. Before we get started, what's going on, Javier? What's up? What's up? Before we get started, I want to remind you guys that today, March 31st, right, is the last day to save your spot for the TechBot Solutions staycation, which means that I'm going to be flying out, all expenses paid, for 2 days, one member that's part of Learn Plan Profit. If you're already enrolled, then you're already in the giveaway. But if you're not already enrolled, there's a $40 off coupon. It's the first one in the description. Feel free to refresh your page if it's not showing up, but it's $40 off. Just wanted to give you an incentive and at least wanted to have you partake in the giveaway if it's something that you see value in. Again, that's for the Learn Plan Profit course. You get to watch me trade live every single day, and then you also get to work with me on a closer basis. So again, I hope that you guys enjoy that, and I'm going to be announcing the winner tomorrow on my second video, which should be right around 4 to 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So I'm really excited to see who's going to be flying out, as we're going to have, this is probably going to be the most planned out trip that we've had for these giveaways, and you're going to be staying with us at the TechBot's house. And stuff like that. So really pumped on that. All right, what's going on, Billy the Kid? What's up? Saved my spot 8 months ago. What's going on, Wade? All right, let's go. What's going on, Carson? Let's go ahead and break these down. So let's start with this. What's going on, Darwin? Thank you again for tuning in. AZUL. So AZUL, here we go. Okay, not bad. 180-day analysis, we can see that it's been a consistent uptrend pattern. It peaked out at around $34.09, then sold off. Ultimately, it's been doing a really good job holding above the SMA line until recently, right? Its earnings came out, began to sell off, and broke below the SMA line. It has done this before, so simply, or one thing that can keep it very simple is I'm just gonna set my alert when it breaks back above the SMA line and the EMA line, and when it begins to make higher highs. because if it does begin to, show signs of a reversal and come back up, just like it's done before, it doesn't necessarily have to hit $34, but let's say it hits, 32, right? That's still a really nice exit. It's done that once, twice, and 3 times. And from the EMA line to where that's at, that's about a little bit over 10%. Even if you're able to capture 5% of that, still an amazing opportunity to potentially take advantage of if you see value in it. So a great call out, but just as much as it could go up, it could also go down. So let's make sure that we set our alerts on both sides. I just set my alerts on the break above the EMA line and the SMA line, and the break below as well. Here we go. Let's see. Again, just a reminder, if you want me to break down your stock, it has to be in the ticker call out format that Ismail keeps sharing. If it's not in that format, I'm simply not going to break it down. Augustine, what is going on? JNUG, I like it. Here we go. Okay, so I see why this one is being called out. It was showing signs of an uptrend pattern. It was validating the SMA line as a support, just like we've seen it before. It's validated the SMA line as a resistance, and I feel like that's kind of where it's heading right now. So maybe is it a good time to buy JNUG? Well, look, the EMA line is pointing down, and the SMA line is almost now showing signs of a peak formation. So it now almost makes sense on, if this were to continue, this SMA line, it almost makes sense on why this thing would begin to downtrend, just like it's done here, and then it acts as a resistance instead of a support. So I would be on high alert for this thing to continue to make lower lows. If not, let's just set our alerts for the break above the EMA line. We might see it consolidate still a little bit more. So I'm going to go here, set an alert. I like the MACD, I like the RSI. It's showing signs that it's oversold and a good potential deal, but again, it has a lot of margin to potentially sell off, so this is why it's so important to wait for confirmation. So I'm going to set my alert also for the sell-off. I don't know why it's not allowing me to. Here we go. And one thing that I want to point out is what do I mean that the RSI, right, which is this, or the MACD, which is this, looks attractive. Well, the RSI is showing that it's below 40 right now. The RSI, if I'm not mistaken, is at 32, which in understanding like the relative strength index, it's in a sense a little bit more on the oversold side. When you're seeing the MACD, you can see that it sold off, just like the MACD did, and then really began to consolidate, and it's almost showing signs of a potential reversal. But again, right now it's just kind of in the consolidation phase. We've talked about it multiple times. There's 3 stages in a reversal: rejection, right, when it sells off; consolidation, when it flatlines and tries to build a support; and then confirmation, when it confirms higher highs. But until we get that confirmation, let's just stay patient. So what's going on, Jerry? What's up? Let's see. All right. Snap. Okay. Alrighty. Snapchat trying to come back up, right? Aggressively sold off, showing signs of it making higher highs. I would solely focus, if you were to even see value in this, even in the smallest form, as a day trade. You could see that based off previous patterns. Just think about this as previous price points and how much of a good deal are you getting. If you really believe in the company of Snapchat and the fundamentals, it still wouldn't really make much sense why you're wanting to hold Snapchat, unless for whatever reason you do. Again, that's up to you. But looking on the technical standpoint, yes, it's pushing up. Yes, it was making higher highs, but now progressively, as at least for the past like half month, right? It's been struggling to make higher highs, and it's kind of just consolidated. And it almost makes sense because it's so overpriced on why it can begin to pull back. So just keep it on high alert. I would treat this and approach this as a day trade, not necessarily something that I would want to hold, and the reason for more than one day. And the reason why is because the potential for risk and the opportunity cost, the margin of profit in comparison to the margin of loss, just in my eyes isn't worth it. If it is for you, then just set up a plan and make sure that you manage your risk and you lock in profits. Here we go. What's going on, Muhammad? What's up? FIT. We're already on our 4th breakdown. FIT. Let's see it. So here we go. Based off previous patterns, resistance right around 650. We're getting a lot of consolidation. Let me ask you guys this. So looking at FIT and how it's consolidating, it's trying to build a support, right around 479. And most likely it's going to try to push back up. The SMA line, as we saw right here, acted as a resistance. So margin of profit, definitely it's going to be something that's going to be attractive. It's about a little bit under 12% based off previous resistance. One thing that I want to point out about FIT right now is the direction is not clear. It's consolidating right now, but this thing's all over the place. So one thing that I want to make sure that you guys understand that, you don't need to be trading, people always ask me, and again, this is me repeating myself, Ricky, why do you always trade natural gas? It decays over time. Ricky, why do you always trade, the same stocks all the time? Because it makes sense to me and it's stocks that I can easily determine the direction of. Other than my Tesla swing trade, I have not swung trade anything really in the past couple of months. And it's because there's been such a huge inconsistency, and I understand the way that these things decay, and I'm okay with locking in profits every single day. Even if you're under the PDT rule, only taking advantage of opportunities that make sense to you and that you can easily determine the direction of. Right now, for ticker symbol FIT, I wouldn't even say that this is an amazing deal. I wouldn't even say that the direction is super clear. The margin of profit is about the same as the margin of loss. So if there's something that that is pushing you towards fit and then why you should trade it, then that's up to you. But ultimately, I don't find the direction to be super attractive and super easy to see. It's consolidating right now, so I don't know why this one would be your top stock for right now, because again, the direction is not clear and it doesn't offer an amazing amount when it comes down to the opportunity cost. It's just not there for me just yet. It's also trending below the SMA line, which means that it might be on its way to begin to make lower lows. So I just wanted to point out, again, it's nothing towards or against fit. It's just something that to me doesn't really make sense. Doesn't mean that it can't be an amazing trade for you if you see something that I don't. And I just want to make sure that I point that out. You can see the RSI. The RSI is pretty average. It's around that 50 range. And looking a little bit closer, the MACD is already showing signs of a peak formation. So again, just a series of reasons maybe why I personally, and with my preference and the way that I see value, just don't find it that attractive. I just wanted to share that with you. FSLR. What's going on, Jake? So FSLR, here we go. Alrighty, I actually like this one. And again, that's my opinion, right? It was selling off. It began to make higher highs. And why do you think, can you guys help me break this one down? Why do you think that I find this thing to be attractive? What about this do I find this to be attractive? Well, what about Snapchat? Snapchat was showing signs of an uptrend. Why did I not find that to be attractive? Because it wasn't progressively making higher highs based off recent patterns. There's a lot of consolidation in the past couple of weeks that it wasn't making any higher highs. It was just consolidating. This, in my eyes, and the way that I'm seeing it right now, is still confirming the SMA line as a support. It has acted as a resistance, so I need to make sure that I understand that. But as of right now, it recently broke above the EMA line and it's making higher highs. And based off previous patterns and how it's been trending, it's been making higher highs. So I personally find that attractive. So out of every stock that I've broken down so far, I would have to say that this is probably one of my favorite ones on top of the first one that we broke down, which is AZUL. So I'm going to set my alert here to see if this thing begins to make higher highs. One thing that I want to point out is keep a very close eye on the RSI and the MACD for a potential pullback. One thing that people always ask for is hey, Ricky, what should you look out for when it comes down to trading a series of different stocks? Every single stock and every single ETF is different. One thing that I try to look at, and again, this is not my, it's not even a strategy or anything like that, but it's just literally looking at previous patterns. How does FSLR usually bounce, right? So sometimes it goes down to the SMA line and then really just begins to make higher highs. Sometimes it pulls back, tries to push up, but then still gets rejected and then goes up and then actually begins to uptrend. So again, there's different characteristics about different stocks and how they trade. And I just want to make sure that when you're struggling to identify maybe how to trade it or what to expect, simply look at previous patterns. So when you get in, just like I got in for my Tesla swing trade, when I got in and then it pushed up, but then got rejected and then sold off, I didn't necessarily freak out because I looked at Tesla's previous patterns and I knew that that was something that could happen. So I felt okay throughout the process because it was something that I was aware of. When something happens and you're completely unaware of what's going on and you're just clueless, then that's when you make, irrational decisions and decisions that are probably not the best when it comes down to trading. And it probably just means that you need a little bit more practice. So that means that you should maybe paper trade or trade with a smaller dollar amount that accommodates a beginner trader. And there's nothing wrong with that. It just means that, you need a little bit more practice, and that's 100% okay. Everyone learns at a different pace, and I was someone that took a really long time to get it down. And even now, I make mistakes every single day. Right? We're human, and that's okay. But as long as our what's it called, profits outweigh the losses, then I think that's what matters. So let's go ahead and break down 5 more. I want you guys to give me some good ones. What's going on, Danny? What's up? What's up? Here we go, Billy. Alrighty. So Billy, can you guys help me out with this one? Why would I possibly, right? I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger for the expansion area. So give me one quick second, just because of the chat. So why would I possibly not find this one to be too attractive? Why? What did I say about
RSI MACD?
Ish? You can't. Okay, so Ish pointed out the RSI and the MACD, right? So he's moderating the chat. But what else about it? Now, and that's not just it. That's not just it. High RSI, you guys got that. But what did I point out about, the one that I just broke down, FSLR, that was different from Snapchat? They're both uptrends, but what was different? I think that's a good way to put it. Momentum has shifted, right? Let's see. Higher highs. There you go, Danny, you got it. And it's very simple, right? So if you look very closely and you see where a majority of the resistance of BILI happens, look at this. Here, right? Look at the RSI, look at the MACD. Now it looks like it could potentially be peaked out there. It's no longer a good deal there. Look at that. Look at the MACD and look at the RSI. Yes, it can continue to uptrend, but in reality, just look at it. Look at the previous times that the RSI was that high. It normally gets rejected. So again, it's just pointing out the obvious. I had a really great day on Friday. Great. Is that momentum going to continue? It doesn't have to. And one thing that it's done based off recent patterns is that it began to trend below the SMA line, which it wasn't doing before when it was actively uptrending. So now maybe we want to be a little bit more careful, and instead of just getting in because I had a green day on Friday, maybe being a little bit more focused on making sure that we get the best deal that we can when it comes down to trading BILI, if that time ever comes. So let's say this thing sells back up to $17. It normally bounces around $17. So maybe it would make a little bit more sense to buy at 17 and sell back up at 19 when it begins to consolidate. The margin of profit is more attractive. Yes, you can make that similar margin here, but are we really going to hope that it just continues to uptrend and makes higher highs? Or looking at the obvious and pointing out series of indicators on it would make sense that this thing should get rejected. And I'm just going to set my alerts here for when this thing begins to sell off. I'll wait for it to find its support, right? So how does this normally find its support? Does it just sell off and then bounce back up, or does it sell off, consolidate, so it takes time, and then begins to trend above the EMA line and then begins to make higher highs, right? Different things to think about and when to pull the trigger to get in and to ensure that you're getting in for a good price. So I'm going to set my alert for both sides because, again, anything can happen. But I think this one's a really interesting one to keep an eye on. It doesn't mean that you have to buy it. Doesn't mean that you have to short it. It just, you can just simply watch it and go from there. You guys are doing really good with the ticker formats. Ishmael's just doing a really good job filtering some of you guys out. What's going on, Brian? GES. Here we go. I remember this one. This was Guess, right? We talked about this one in like 2 weeks ago in our Sunday Stock Talk, right? When this thing was below $19, right? It sold off. I sent this and I made the little joke to my buddy Nick, who's a model for Guess. He's a little bit better looking than me, just a little bit. And we're like, hey, dude, look, it's selling off, and based off previous patterns, it's around a general area that could be viewed as a good point, and the margin of profit isn't bad. But then guess what? It begins to uptrend. Great. And then guess what happens? The MACD and the RSI become overextended. It's going to pull back, correct itself most likely, and then most likely try to continue to uptrend. So I think that this one would be a very attractive one to keep a close eye on as it begins to make that reversal and change of direction. So I really do appreciate you bringing this one back up to our attention. Tesla, what is going on, Simon? I already gave, so I'm going to break this one down super quick. This one's not going to count as one of the stocks that I broke down, but I shared my opinion. I'm not too sure if you guys watched today's video that I uploaded before this, but it's me actually selling my Tesla position. So the 182 shares, I screen recorded while I was on the go, me selling my shares and why I sold it and stuff like that. So be sure to check that video out if you haven't already. But pretty much Tesla, what I saw was this SMA line. I pointed it out before I even took my position. If you guys will go back to that original video, the SMA line, Tesla was downtrending and the SMA line was acting as a resistance. That's the easiest way to put it. It would sell off, find a support, and then push up, get rejected. Sell off, push up, get rejected. Sell off, push up, get rejected. Sell off, push up, get rejected. And it made sense to me on, during the sell off and during this push up. The profit that I made off of Tesla wasn't what I desired. The percentage growth that I experienced wasn't what I desired. The swing trade did not go essentially according to plan. I still made a profit off of it, But what I saw was like, look at the RSI and look at the MACD and look at the overall direction. It doesn't matter how much I'm up, how much I'm down, or what I want Tesla to do. I should not trade based off of my desires. I should trade based off of the patterns and what actually makes sense, because I understand that I have no direct correlation nor impact to the overall market. So because of that, I decided to lock in profits. And yes, Tesla can push up to 290, and Tesla can push up to 310. In reality, I made much more money day trading Tesla than I did swing trading. I just thought it would be something like of value for me to share on my channel. And I think the series of best practices of like how patient I was and stuff like that, and why I decided to sell my swing trade makes a lot of sense. And based off of the feedback, people actually really enjoyed the 3 series videos that I made, one following up with Tesla. So yeah, I just see Tesla based off of the overall pattern and direction it's not much of a good deal right now. And because of that, I decided to sell. So that's the easiest way for me to put it. Make sure it's Whiskey Boys. What's going on, Javier? You crack me up, dude. Joey, ticker symbol MO. Thank you again for tuning in, man. I appreciate it. So here we go. Ticker symbol MO. Not a good deal. Extremely overbought. And a lot of consolidation. So this thing can make higher highs, and we can set our alert there. If I were to even consider taking a position on this, it would have to be for a day trade only, because of how overbought it is. And thinking and taking into consideration of this movement that it had, yes, it can continue to push up, right? And that's a nice little margin, but just imagine losing twice as much as that, right? I just wouldn't want to partake in that. So if I were to approach this and the uptrend pattern continues, then a day trade might be attractive. But overall, I would not swing trade something like this. Here we go. TQQQ. What's going on, Jonathan? Here we go. Alrighty. So here we go. Rejection, right? Overall push up. SMA line began to push up, and then we're just getting a lot of consolidation here, right? I would keep a very close eye. You guys know what I say every single time. I would keep a very close eye on /NQ, right? Because when /NQ pushes up, then so does TQs. And looking at how the market opened, right? This is where it closed at on Friday, and this is the recovery. So in all honesty, then we should actually see a very green day for the overall market if the price holds at this price point, especially for TQs. One thing that I really like to focus on is now the market opens here in Arizona due to daylight savings at 4 a.m. So sometimes I wake up at 4 a.m. to see the direction, right? So right now when I look at NQ, I can see that it's trading between the middle and top view up. I don't care that it pushed up that much. I didn't swing trade it, so I don't benefit from that. But what I do care is what's the direction? Did it push up and then is it selling off, or did it push up and still make higher highs? That's what's attractive, right? So again, be sure to identify not just something that is green on the day, but is it progressively making higher highs? Because if you didn't swing trade it, then it being green on the day is irrelevant. Something can be red on the day and you can still make more money than something being green, because you can identify its direction. So right now, looking at NQ, trading between the middle and top view up, it's making higher highs, making higher lows. Now it's overbought, it's pulling back. If I see this during pre-market hours, and then when it comes down to market opening, what do I want to trade? Well, I know that NQ in correlation to TQs is actually trending up. So maybe that might be something that I might find attractive if I feel like I'm getting a good deal. I like the direction, I like the pattern, and the opportunity cost is worth it. So just wanted to share my spiel on why I think it's so important to understand the overall futures that it correlates on over to. Let's do 3 more. So let's do 3 good ones. What's going on, Chrissy? So AMD. Here we go. Got a little bit too close. 180-day analysis. Okay, so it looks like it was selling off. It began to make higher highs, and it recently sold off. It looks like it's trying to catch a support. Look at the MACD. Look at the RSI. Now we just wait for higher highs. That kind of rhymed. Look at the MACD. Look at the RSI. Now let's wait for higher highs. Damn, I'm a freaking rapper. Here we go. I'm going to set alert for both sides, because just as much as it could go up, it could go down, and we can go from there, right? Based off previous resistance, we can go off of this, or right around that $28 price point. Obviously, that would probably be something that you have to swing trade if you want to capitalize on that entire margin, which the volatility for AMD, just like Tesla, is probably very volatile in correlation to a lot of other multi-billion-dollar corporations. But yeah, margin of profit is not bad. It's actually pretty big. And I would, even if you do want to swing trade it, I would just even consider the idea of maybe just day trading it if you come up on on top with a decent amount, and it's becoming less of a good deal. So just a little friendly reminder. Stock market is artificial. Okay. Here we go. Let's go ahead and break down. Looks like we don't have. All right. AQMS. What's going on, Christian? All right. Here we go. So what do you guys think about this? Help me break this one down. This will be the last one. This will be the last one that I ask you guys to help me break down. What do you all think about AQMS? No bueno. Rejected by the EMA line, right? It became super overbought, right around 433, and then began to sell off, right? Building support. Again, it's not just about pointing out the cons, it's also about pointing out maybe the pros. The MACD is decent. The RSI isn't too bad. It looks like you got rejected by the EMA line, right? There you go. What's going on, Trey? Looks like you're sharing your first name, right? Loser Trey Wask. Just kidding. I'm super funny, huh? I was like, I'm super funny. Here we go. But yeah, ultimately AQMS pushed that, became super overbought, began to sell off, and sold off very aggressively. So now it's trying to find a support. So the easiest way for me to put this is that this would be viewed almost as a critical point. It's trying to change its overall direction. So now we need to wait for higher highs and to be extremely selective with when we choose to enter that specific position. Because just as much as it could begin to show signs of a reversal, it still has a lot of margin to sell off. So you need to make sure that you're very precise with that entry. Because again, like we say, the more that it sells off, especially if it actually does end up reversing, the more margin of profit that you build for yourself on the upside, right? So I set mileage for both, and then we can kind of go from there. Let's see it. Let's see. Christian. Alrighty, here we go. BBD. What's going on, Lock? Here we go. Not a good deal below the SMA line, and is ultimately making lower lows and lower highs. So I don't find this one to be attractive at all. I want to break down some good ones. CTS. Wait, CTXS, right? Just make sure I got that one correct. Yeah. Consistent downward pattern. Overall, yes, it's at support, but it's a descending pattern. So if you're someone that's just getting started and is struggling with entry points and exit points, and you know the overall just layer of risk that a descending pattern adds to the table, probably not something that you want, you know, going against you. SYNA, Mr. Rodrigo. Here we go. Yeah, descending pattern volatility is crazy. It looks like you had a really green day on Friday. It looks like some form of manipulation that either drove the price down, now driving the price up. Actually super overextended. It makes sense on why it can pull back. It's just not like easy way for me to put it. Not my cup of tea, right? ACB. What's going on, DS? ACB is like that Aurora thing now. Yeah. Looks like it's trying to make higher highs now. Again, it was getting rejected and making lower lows and lower highs, so it could still get rejected here. So again, be very patient with your entry point, and let's set that alert. Let's set that alert for it making higher highs and also higher lows as well. So let's be patient for those pullbacks, and don't be so aggressive in maybe entering all at once, and be a little bit more focused on just feeling comfortable with you know, you adding more to your position size and stuff like that. Loma, what is going on, Ben? This is going to be, I think, the last one. Here we go. Oh no, I don't like this one. Overall support here based off previous resistance right around $13. So margin isn't bad, right? But I personally just don't like the pattern is not, in my eyes, consistent enough. It looks like it was uptrending, now broke below the semi line, so we could actually see this thing begin to make lower lows and lower highs. So just higher alert on that. ARNC. Here we go. Lower lows and lower highs. Come on, team. TGTX. looks like it's being manipulated. Look at the change in volume. Aggressive descending pattern and all of a sudden just changes. Yeah, not something that I want to partake in. TMO. After this, super overbought, overextended, and not a good deal. All right, I'm done breaking down those. I'm going to talk about the one, just at least one decent one that I am keeping a close eye on this week, if that's okay with you guys. Bank of America. What?
No, we're not okay with that.
No? Okay. I was going to talk about this one tomorrow, but there's a couple of I don't want to end it on a bad note. It just irritates me. But pushed up to highs of $30, got rejected, right? Overall, found a support, and it's trying to find a support right around $26, $27. Due to the overall market recovery, I think that this could be something that can drive the price up for BAC as well. And because it built such a nice little margin, if the higher highs continue, again, it's all about getting a good deal, especially for really reputable companies. You can see that the margin of profit is decent. Again, it's almost building this cup and handle pattern. If you don't know what that is, feel free to search it up. The SMA line can act as a resistance. The MACD and RSI aren't the best as of right now, so it might pull back more before it continues to uptrend. But I just thought it would be something that would be at least worth watching because of how aggressively it's sold off. And it's something that I just personally wanted to keep a close eye on and stuff like that. So Nike is showing a very similar pattern to that. Tesla, yeah, but we talked about that already. And then we talked about Guess. So those are my breakdowns for this week. Can you guys let me know how do you think we did this week? Are you guys more excited to hear my top stocks? We'll keep it simple tomorrow. I'll try to include a decent amount of stocks for you guys tomorrow. I'll do about 5. But I had a lot of fun. We're actually right around 30 minutes, so I think that was cool. What do you guys have planned this weekend? Or I guess not this weekend, but later for Sunday. You guys kind of learn a little bit more, catch up on some homework, hang out with the family, watch some TV, watch some movies. What are you guys doing? And where are you guys all from? We have a lot of people that have just subscribed to the channel recently. I don't think that bedtime, time to go to bed. A lot of people on the East Coast, huh? Canada, Chicago. I see. Detroit, Tokyo. Wow. Texas, Chinatown. What? Texas, Florida. You guys are crazy. You guys are all over the place. Florida, LA, New York, Toronto, Canada. Oh my goodness. I want this to be shown in the chat. Let's see if we can show it. New Jersey, Houston, Virginia, AZ, Minnesota, Arkansas, Sydney, Australia. Holy moly. You guys are Philippines. That is so cool. Well, I just personally wanted to thank you again. I know you guys aren't watching this video because it's super entertaining or anything like that. So I just want to remind you that you guys are all amazing people. Super blessed to, have you guys just even invest your time in watching me break down a series of stocks that our members see value in. So I hope it's something that you guys saw value in. I really hope that I earned you a thumbs up. I hope for those that are within the United States that wanted to partake in the Learn Plan Profit course, that were already interested, and even the incentive of maybe winning the giveaway right tomorrow, of being flown out by us, spending 2 days with me and the TechBlitz teams, trading right side by side with me, and learning about not just our business when it comes down to what it is that we do, but also learning about the series of different markets that we partake in. I think that would be something that could be very eye-opening for someone. I'm really happy and really excited to film this entire process of what it's like for someone that watches me from behind the screen. And I really hope that for whoever wins, once we get you out here, that maybe you could vlog the experience and share your own perspective. I think that'd be something that would be very interesting. So Ken, thank you enough. Scotty, Andy, Jans, Gadiel, Darwin, Sue, Morena, Mike, Ricky, Creative Card, Andrew, and Paria. I can't thank you guys enough for everything it is that you guys do. Again, just wanted to remind you it's $40 off the Learn Plan Profit course if you want to be a part of that. If not, we have a free group. It's called TechBlitz Solutions, which is the largest one out there on Facebook with nearly 200,000 members. We'd love to have you as a part of our team and work with you in any way that you want. That's just pretty much your choice. So I wish you guys an amazing rest of the week. Remember, be conservative. Make sure that every action that you take aligns with your goals. And if it does not, then maybe it's not something that you want to take as of now. Let's lock in those profits. Thank you guys again for your time. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy, team.